Hey mama, welcome to Momday. My name is Ella. I'm in my third trimester. You can do this spine and hip mobility routine at any stage in your pregnancy. It's a feel-good routine. We don't need any equipment for this, but if you like to use yoga blocks for some support in some of these movements, then I'll show you how you can include those as well. I recommend putting on some comfy clothes, turning down the lights, and when you're ready, let's jump into it. We're gonna start down on the floor and we're gonna have our feet out really nice wide in front of us, supporting yourself with your hands behind you. We're just gonna do some easy windshield wipers, so dropping the knee down towards the floor and then switching over to the other side. For all of the movements throughout this entire routine, I want you to think about big inhales, expanding the rib cage, filling the rib cage with air. That's going to gently lengthen through the pelvic floor. It's going to help you to release any tension, and then long exhales. Just let all of that release, all that air out of the body. And if you find your mind wandering at any point, then just try to come back to your breath, connect back to those big inhales and long exhales. Try to be in tune with your body, noticing if you have any restriction or stiffness from one side to the other side. Just being aware of that and making some notes. Sending a little bit more breath to any areas that feel sticky or stuck. And just taking this time, this short amount of time out of your day to just connect to your breath. Tapping into our parasympathetic nervous system that helps our body to release tension, to feel safe and relaxed. And then from here, we're going to take our opposite foot, we're going to place it across on our knee, just working a little bit more internal rotation on this side. And again, just try to let your body be heavy here. If you want to, you can also do this from a reclined position, so laying down on your back. And again, just breathing into your body, breathing into any areas that feel stiff. And then long exhales, just let all that air go. Nice, let's take that foot out. We'll do one more hip switch and then placing this foot over onto the opposite knee. Okay, next we're going to sit ourselves up. We're going to bring our legs into a 90-90 position out in front of us. We're working external rotation, internal rotation. We're going to come into a little side bend here. With this side bend, I want you to think about breathing into the lateral rib cage here, really expanding with your breath. Finding that space, and then we're going to place that hand back behind us. We're going to lift our hips and reach up and over. Again, breathing into that lateral rib cage and feeling a nice stretch through the front of the pelvis on that side. And then we're just going to keep switching between the two, up and over. Coming into our side bend. Really feeling that nice stretch through the side body. And then pushing down through the floor, coming into our extension with a reach again. Breathing into that side body as we reach overhead and feeling that nice stretch through the front of the pelvis. Job, Mama. Okay, sitting down on your bum, we're going to come into a seated figure of four on the right side. So we're going to take our right leg, we're going to cross it over our left knee, supporting our hands behind us. And then we're going to think about pushing this knee, this right knee, down towards the floor. And you should feel that nice stretch through the glute, through the side of the hip on that right side. And again, just breathing here. If it feels a little bit tight for you, then you can Walk your foot further away from the body and gradually walk it in a little bit closer as you find more range of motion. You can also, again, just windscreen wiper the knee over to one side, seeing how that changes the stretch for you. And then the closer that your heel is towards your bum, the more intense this stretch is going to feel. And the further away you push your knee down towards the ground, the more intense it's going to feel. So just find a point where you can really feel that nice stretch, being still gentle with your body. And breathing. Okay, we're going to come into our 90-90 position on the other side now. And then we're going to come into that nice side body reach. Again, breathing into that lateral rib cage. Place that hand down behind you. Lift the hips. Coming into that gentle back bend as we extend up. And last one on this side. Nice job. Sitting down on your bum, we're going to come into that figure 4 stretch on the left side this time. So bringing that left foot across onto the right knee. And again, just noticing if one side feels any different to the other side. And maybe one side needs a little bit more breath, a little bit more concentration on relaxing and releasing. Finding balance in the body and in the pelvis is going to be really helpful as we approach labor to make sure that we're even from side to side as baby navigates their way through the pelvis, releasing that uneven tension that we might be holding from left to right side or front to back. And again, you can drop the knee over to one side, kind of do those windscreen wipers, finding any spots that feel particularly tight. Nice job. From here, we're going to sit ourselves up. We're going to extend our right leg out to the side, having our left leg bent down in front of us. Sit up really nice and tall with your spine. Take your inhale here, and then exhale, you're going to gently hinge at the hips, folding forward. You're going to feel that nice stretch through the inner thigh, through the hamstring on that right side. And again, just trying to let your body be heavy here, sinking into the floor. Using your breath to release tension. Notice if you're gripping your jaw, you're frowning, or gripping your glutes or your abs, and just try to let everything be heavy and sink into the sensation. And coming back to our breath. So big inhales. Filling the rib cage with air at the front, through the back, and through the sides. And then long exhales, just let all that air go. Nice job. Walk yourself up, and then we're just going to switch over to the other side. So again, sitting up really nice and tall through the spine, find that length with your inhale, and then exhale, you're going to fold forward. Feeling that stretch through the inner thigh on that left side. One more deep breath here. And then next we're going to come into an all fours position, and we're going to work on some thoracic or upper back mobility with our thoracic rotation. So from an all fours position and a nice neutral spine, I'm going to place my right hand behind my head. I'm going to drop my elbow down towards the ground, and then I'm going to open up my chest. My gaze is going to follow, opening up, rotating to the side, and then dropping down, and then finding that rotation again. Trying to keep the pelvis exactly where it is. All of this rotation is coming from the upper mid back. So try to avoid cheating the movement, trying to get as much rotation as you can, and really try and isolate the movement from the upper mid back. Working on thoracic mobility throughout pregnancy is going to be so important to help stabilize the lower back, keep the spine functional. And it's something that we commonly lose or get more restricted in is thoracic rotation or thoracic mobility generally. Nice, one more on this side. And then we're going to switch sides, so back to all fours position. Left hand behind the head, we're going to drop that elbow down. And then opening up, chest towards the ceiling, gaze is going to follow. Make sure to breathe. And last one on this side. And then coming back to our all fours position here, we're just going to work on some cat-cows. So you're going to take an inhale, drop your belly, lift your tailbone, lift your gaze, coming into your cow. And then we're going to reverse that. So we're going to round the tailbone, tucking under the pelvis, rounding through lower back, mid back, upper back. Think about pushing your pinky fingers through the ground to spread your shoulder blades apart, tuck the chin. This is our cow with our rounded back. And then let's reverse it. So drop the belly, lift the tailbone, lift the gaze. And exhale, rounding through the back. One vertebra at a time, spreading those shoulder blades apart, push the ground away. Tuck the chin. And then you're just going to flow through those two movements with your own breath. And then we're going to slowly reduce this movement to just moving the pelvis. And a way that I like to do this is by dropping down onto my forearms here. And then we're going to do the same thing. So lifting the tailbone up towards the ceiling and then curling the tailbone underneath the body, coming into pelvic tilts here. So lift the tailbone, anterior pelvic tilt, and then we're going to tuck the tailbone under, coming into our posterior pelvic tilt. And we're just trying to isolate the pelvis here. And again, just keep breathing. Inhale, anterior tilt. Exhale, tuck under, posterior pelvic tilt. Nice job on my last few reps here. Tucking and untucking the pelvis. And then next movement that we're going to come into is our hamstring stretch with our hip flexor stretch. And this is where you can use some blocks for support. So I'm going to bring my right foot to the outside of my right hand. So my hands are going to be on the inside of my foot. And then I'm going to think about tucking my pelvis under and leaning forward, feeling that stretch through the front of the pelvis. And then I'm going to pull my hips back, flex my foot coming into a hamstring stretch. And you can do this with or without yoga blocks. You can also use a chair in front of you for some support as well. And then we're just going to cycle through those two movements. So feeling that nice stretch through the front of the pelvis. Remembering to breathe, and then you're going to rock your hips back, flex the foot, feel that hamstring stretch. And I'll show you this without our yoga blocks as well. So coming into our low lizard, and then pulling back into our hamstring stretch. Keeping it nice and dynamic here, or you can just move into stillness with each pose. You can also be up. And then we're going to lift up really nice and tall. So coming into a tall kneeling position. From here, really think about exaggerating that tuck under of the pelvis. And then we're going to reach our opposite arm to the leg that's forward. And we're just going to come into a little side body stretch. Again, feeling that amazing stretch through the front of the pelvis, through the hip flexor on that left side. Really breathing into the space, into your side ribs, into those hip flexors. Nice, and then coming down to the floor, and we're just gonna go ahead and switch over to the other side. So left foot on the outside of the left hand, and again, find your variation here, whether you're supported, hands are on the floor or lifted. And then just rocking between the two with your low lizard and your hamstring stretch. And then finding that tall kneeling position again. And then tucking the tailbone under, reaching up and over with that opposite arm, filling the side ribs with air. Think about pushing the pelvis through as you find that tuck, feeling that amazing stretch through the hip flexor on that back leg. Coming back to your breathing if you lost it. Big inhales, long exhales. And then our final position is going to be our puppy pose. So we're going to keep our hips up nice and high. You can have your knees out as wide as you like, make room for that belly. And then we're just going to walk our arms forward, reaching our fingertips as far away from us as we can, feeling a nice stretch through the lats. Dropping our chest and our forehead down towards the ground, keeping our hips up nice and high. And then just long inhales here, thinking about breathing into the space between your two sit bones. If you want to, You can add in some internal rotation here, so bringing the feet out wider than the knees, internally rotating at the hip. That's widening the space between the two sit bones, opening up that pelvic outlet. And again, just try to let your body be heavy here. Notice if you're clenching your jaw, if you're clenching your glutes, holding tension in your eyebrows. And just try and soften with every inhale and every exhale. Let's take one more deep breath together. And then slowly walking your hands up. Thank you so much for joining me for that hip and spine pelvis mobility routine. I'm thinking of you throughout your pregnancy. I'm so honored that I'm on this journey with you, and I'm so excited to see you in our next movement session together. Bye, Mama.